What's up, everybody? Welcome to Lines on Paper, and this is my review of Batman and the Outsiders #1 from DC Comics. So this is the latest volume in the long-running Outsiders property. This one brought to us by Brian Edward Hill with art by Dexter Soy. This is a fairly new team. Batman has normally been affiliated with the Outsiders. He's the one that formed them originally. This has returning original founding members Black Lightning and Katana, with new members Orphan and the Signal. And let's get right into this one. First of all, let me just say, I gave myself a rule at the beginning of this year that I would no longer be purchasing comic books that I did not intend to keep as part of my collection. So what that means is if it's not a title that I collect, and if it's not a title that I plan on collecting or I think have potential to be collecting, then I leave it on the stands. This week was a very, very slow release week, and I wanted to get a video for you guys. So I took a chance on a couple of books that I thought maybe had a little bit of potential, and but normally I wouldn't just go willy-nilly and buy a title I don't have a whole bunch of faith in. But we'll get a little bit more into why I chose these as we go. So Batman and the Outsiders #1 starts off. We see some solid artwork from Dexter Soy. And we have a couple of characters here driving down the road in Los Angeles, and they get into a massive car accident and end up being picked up by a person who claims to be a god. He then picks up the two passengers, kills one. The other one, his powers don't affect, so he realizes that she must be something special, and that's kind of our story hook going into the book. The rest of the book kind of focuses on the Outsiders team. We see the Signal and Orphan facing off against a gun-toting maniac, and the Signal and Orphan go in, deal with him. A lot of interpersonal drama, a little bit of why Batman put the team back together, why he selected the members he did. Back in the day, Batman originally formed the Outsiders as kind of his answer to the Justice League. He left the Justice League and formed his own team to fight crime the way he wanted to fight, or figured the war on crime should be fought. If you were watching the new season of Young Justice, which is Young Justice Outsiders, very similar themes, just done a long time ago. There was another incarnation of the Outsiders that I actually did collect from Judd Winnick and Tom Rainey. This one was formed by Nightwing rather than Batman, and I actually really enjoyed this run on the Outsiders. I have the entire series in my collection, and I would definitely recommend chasing down the trade paperbacks of this one and giving it a shot, because it was very good. Unlike this version, I have to say, this story, I actually had to read this in parts. I was having a lot of trouble getting through this issue. The Signal is he's our main point of view character, at least he starts out as that, and he is just kind of a arrogant and almost comes across disrespectful, just insulting Black Lightning and Orphan any chance he gets. He doesn't show that he has any skill to back this up, as he needed Black Lightning to bail him out of a situation that he got him and Orphan in. And I found his character unlikable. I haven't been keeping up with Cassandra Cain, aka the Orphan storyline lately, but her dialogue has her speaking kind of Captain Caveman-ish, referring to people in the third person as well as herself. So I don't know what all that was about. Katana, also her personality is a bit changed. And Black Lightning, normally a very confident character, a pretty solid DC character, and he's been the leader of the Outsiders before. And he's questioning why he's on the team. He's allowing people to question his decision-making in the field. I really didn't feel like this was the Black Lightning that I've ever seen reflected in a comic before. And Batman kind of plays the part of kind of the voice box from Charlie's Angels. He shows up, he gives the Outsiders their marching orders, and goes away. I really did not like this book. I didn't like the writing, the story pace. I didn't feel it was very good. The artwork I thought was solid, and I was a bit disappointed because, again, I picked this book up mostly because I did have affection for the Judd Winnick Outsiders years, and I've read the original Outsiders comics, and I enjoyed those as well. So I had higher hopes for this book, and it kind of let me down. So that brings me to the second book I bought this week, which was Captain America #10, which is the latest chapter in the Captain of Nothing storyline. So to bring people up to speed on that, Captain America, I guess, has been revealed as the Hydra Cap, the supreme leader, people figured out that that was Steve Rogers. And even though anyone who read the storyline, spoiler alert, knows that Captain America was a product of an alternate timeline that was brought about by Kubik, the human incarnation of the Cosmic Cube. And she was able to restore Captain America, and he fought back and was able to save everybody. So this book does have solid artwork from Adam Kubert, one of my favorites, even though don't know that this was his best work. I've seen him draw Captain America before, and it looked a bit better than this. And Ta-Nehisi Coates, I hope I said that name right, is our writer. So this book kicks off with Captain America in prison. He's been framed for the murder of Thunderbolt Ross, who he's suspected as being part of this new post-Hydra villain organization called the Elite. And once he was accused, he turned himself in and is going to let justice run its course, very Captain America of him. In the meantime, the heroes and some of the villains in this super villain prison that Captain America is serving his time in are conspiring to keep Captain America safe and bail him out, because he's in a jail with a lot of his ex-enemies, and the prison itself dampens his powers to a pretty decent extent. So he's powerless. He's among his enemies. He's got a few people on the inside that are trying to keep him safe and help him out. But he's definitely in a precarious situation. And here we see Sue Storm and Thunderball was hatching a plan to get him out. And part of my problem with this story is as it goes through the self-narration with Captain America, he's talking about how Hydra came about, and he was being made to be the supreme leader of Hydra, and he actually calls that fake news. They use the line in the comic of fake news, but it kind of isn't. There was a Captain America that was Steve Rogers, that was the head of Hydra, and I don't know that it would be common knowledge that it was from an alternate timeline, but I do have to say I find it odd that Captain America's kind of taken the fall for this one, because I do remember Captain America creaming this guy on the steps of this Capitol, and I thought he did it on national television. So I kind of did think it was fairly decent knowledge that even if that was Steve Rogers heading up Hydra, that is not the same Steve Rogers that's in the current Marvel U. But to be fair, I have not read every Captain America issue since then, so perhaps something's happened. It struck me as a little bit of lazy writing, somebody who maybe was writing a story without knowing the backstory of what they were bringing in. Overall, I thought this was not Adam Kubert's strongest artistic effort. I felt that the story went a bit slow. There was a scene where Cap gets in a cage fight with Baron Strucker, and without his powers, Strucker kind of manhandled a bit. I have to think that Captain America, being the hand-to-hand combatant that he is, would still be able to best a Baron Strucker. I know he's not the old Strucker from World War II. He's a grandson, great-grandson, and they're no slouch in the fighting department either. But I just thought Cap could have handled himself a little bit better. This story, they seem to write Captain America into these corners, and in my opinion, a lot of the time the payoff tends to be kind of an unrealistic push-button solution like the end of Secret Empire. I enjoyed the fight with the two Captain Americas, but overall, just using the cube to kind of whiz-bang a solution out, I thought was a weak answer then, and I'm detecting kind of similar storytelling techniques used here. Wasn't a fan of this one either. Overall, this week getting into the poll list was rough because there just was nothing that grabbed my interest. And my normal titles came out. I didn't see anything that looked exceptionally great. I grabbed two books that kind of piqued my interest a little bit just to give them a shot and to give you guys a review going into this week. But overall, I have to say, comics let me down this week. And when we have a medium that we love as much as we love it, when it lets us down, and it's going to happen. So weeks like this happen. Let's hope that next week I find something fun for you guys again, and we'll review a title that we enjoy. Maybe I missed something on the comic stands this week. Let me know in the comments below if you read something that you really enjoyed that I could have reviewed and maybe would have had a better reading experience this week. Let me know if you disagree with the books I did review. Did you like the Captain America or Outsiders if you picked them up? Would you continue buying in the future? Did I miss something in the Captain America story? Let me know that too. Please hit like and subscribe if you are in a position to help the channel grow. Visit our Patreon page. Share the video. It always helps us out. And again, Lines on Paper here. I will see you guys next week. Goodbye.